Welcome. We are discussing runes today, and the rune that we have that's governing today's energy is Algiz. And I want to talk with Algiz about boundaries and where are your boundaries in life at the moment. So this could do with in your relationships, at work, at home, with your children, with your spouse. Boundaries are very important, and boundaries don't mean that you are putting a restriction between yourself and anybody else. A boundary is something that you are honouring yourself with. So you are basically saying to yourself, this is what's okay with me, over this way is not what's okay with me, and being able to discern which is which for you. So that is the energy of Algiz, and with that brings protection. So it's like you're protecting yourself from further hurt. But sometimes, because especially if you're empathic, you may feel that putting a boundary in place with somebody else is hurting that person or upsetting that person, and so you may feel like you don't want to put a boundary in place, or your boundaries will be weaker because of how you feel. That's based around your emotions, and if you act out of your emotions when setting these boundaries, they're always going to be shakeable. And it's going to leave you feeling disheartened. It's going to make you feel that you aren't really standing in your power or in your worth. And that may be a subconscious thought. It might not be something that is in the forefront of your mind, but it will affect then the boundaries that you have in place around you too. So if you have kind of weak boundaries with people, you kind of put other people's needs before your own. It may be that perhaps when you were younger, you felt like your needs weren't important, or maybe you were around somebody that was perhaps emotionally unstable and their emotions seemed more important in your environment, in your household. In which case then you would be looking for validation of your own. You may even have learnt to self-soothe, your own, and internalize your own thoughts and feelings because you didn't have the space to express how you feel and what your needs are. So that is the energy of Algiz today. And Algiz also connects us to the elk. So you think about that energy, deer is kind of like a gentle energy. They're gentle, but they are very aware. And they do have those boundaries in place. They have the ability to go and do what they need to do, but being aware of dangers and not allowing that danger to come near them. They're using all of their senses to prevent that danger from being apparent. But us as humans, sometimes we don't see the danger because we are putting our attention into, well, I want to give this a chance. I want this person to feel loved or to feel satisfied or happy. But if that is at the detriment of your own happiness or your own needs being met, then it's imbalanced. And in that imbalance is going to create resentment. So in a relationship kind of scenario, you don't really want things hanging around that are going to create resentment. Because then what happens is you will then start to sabotage parts of the relationship, not really knowingly, because again it's a subconscious thought. It's sort of in there working in the background, but being disguised as other things that are happening for you. So where are your boundaries right now? And do you feel you have healthy, strong boundaries? Or do you have weak, flaky boundaries? Do you sometimes have strong boundaries in some areas of your life and weaker boundaries in other areas of your life? So looking at boundaries is sort of like, it doesn't have to be forceful. It can just be about expression, being able to express what your needs are, feeling safe to do so. So Algiz also contains that energy of safety, protection. It's a bit like the safety of a fierce mother around a child. So, a child needs protecting right now, let's protect it. But there is a flip side to it, because a boundary can become, if we turn it around, too restrictive. So that mother that's protecting the child could actually become a restriction around that child, to the point where the child doesn't realise how to go about in the world, because it's always had its mother around it to protect it. And you may find then that type of person will have weaker boundaries, because they're looking constantly for somebody to be that protection around them again. So that is the energy. Another, perhaps the shadow quality of Algiz is about restricting yourself with boundaries. It's okay to let go of your boundaries at times, but constantly watching to see how that is feeling for you. Check in with your body. Where are you feeling that in your body when you set a boundary with somebody? Does it feel like you're doing the right thing, or does it feel like, actually, I don't really need to set a boundary around this? So that is the energy of today, working with Algiz, working with those boundaries. So have a ponder on that right now. Have a little think about your boundaries in your life. Do you have healthy boundaries? Do you have weak boundaries? Would you like to create more balance with those boundaries? And if so, then do get in touch. We can work on this with you and create a different way of living for you that feels healthier, that feels more aligned with who you are, and those strong boundaries. Have a blessed day.